To questions of party leaders, and first this afternoon is the Leader of Plaid Cymru, Leanne Wood.
Diolch Llywedd. First Minister, the Secretary of State for Wales yesterday made a comment indicating an unwillingness to consider further meaningful devolution, and it's looking increasingly likely that the previously agreed timetable regarding further devolution no longer stands. Now that we have a Westminster government without a mandate from this country, would you agree with me that the time is now long overdue to strengthen the Welsh devolution settlement?
Yes, well, I saw what the Prime Minister said in terms of delivering for Wales within 100 days. We'll have to wait and see. There are signs that that's being rolled back from. I've never agreed with Wales being treated differently from Scotland in that regard. And I would hope that there is a recognition that there is a mandate for the UK government in England. Not so in Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. And the Prime Minister must show that he can be the Prime Minister of Britain, not just the Prime Minister of England.
Thank you for your answer, First Minister. As the person leading Wales's government and following on from the response that you've just given, can you tell me whether or not your government's position has changed regarding this from before? What measures, for example, do you now support that might help to mitigate against the cuts that we know are coming? Do you support measures, for example, that go beyond silk? And will you be articulating any changed position to the Prime Minister when you speak to him?
Yes, I do think that we should go beyond silk. We know that the Smith Commission, in terms of Scotland, has offered more devolution for Scotland. I think that offer should be made to Wales. She will know, and I've said this before, that doesn't automatically mean we should accept everything, because sometimes there are bear traps that are laid for us. But nevertheless, Smith changed the nature of devolution as far as Scotland is concerned. It is naive to think in Whitehall that somehow this has no effect on Wales. But I think the first step has to be for us to see delivery on what is at least at this moment in time agreed by all the parties, and then of course look at how the settlement can be strengthened in the future. But the first thing to do is to make sure that the promise of action within 100 days is kept by the Conservative government.
Well, I think it's clear, First Minister, that many Welsh communities will be looking to your government for some sort of protection from the further cuts and the coming reforms which don't have support from the majority of people in this country. Now, the Tories haven't been upfront about where the axe is going to fall. We know that we can expect a further £12 billion worth of welfare cuts. Now, I'm not sure whether or not you've considered whether or not a UK-wide welfare system will continue into the future, and if not, what we are going to do about that. Now, it's likely that Scotland will get powers over welfare. Will powers over welfare be something that you will now be seeking from Westminster for Wales?
Well, 2 points. First of all, we don't know what the scale of the cuts will be. We have to wait and see what happens. We have an idea, but we don't know until we see the first financial settlement. Secondly, the welfare system does transfer money into Wales. We should be very wary about changing a system that provides us with a positive benefit. There is no UK-wide benefit system. Of course, it's a GB-wide benefit system. In Northern Ireland, welfare has devolved, but we see what's happened there is that there's no agreement in terms of what should happen with the bedroom tax, for example, but there's no money to pay for what the Northern Ireland Executive, or part of the Northern Ireland Executive, would want to do. So having the powers is one thing, having the money to deliver on people's expectations is another. And we should examine very, very carefully whether wholesale welfare devolution is actually in Wales's interests, if it means we then lose a chunk of money that is at present being transferred into Wales. That said, I do share her concern about what's in the pipeline. Neither she nor me will know what's going to be proposed by the Conservative government. It's a change from coalition, but Conservative government. We will have to wait and see, and then of course make our assessment in terms of what it means for Wales.